The man's name was David. He was a journalist who wanted to write a story about the Alaskan wilderness. He had rented a small plane and flown to a remote area where he planned to hike for a few days and take photos of the scenery. He had packed enough food, water, and equipment for his trip, but he had not expected the weather to change so quickly. On his second day of hiking, he encountered a snowstorm that reduced his visibility to almost zero. He tried to find his way back to his plane, but he soon realized that he was lost. He wandered around for hours, hoping to find a shelter or a sign of civilization. He was getting cold, hungry, and tired. He was about to give up when he saw a faint light in the distance. He followed it and came to an old wooden cabin. It looked abandoned and dilapidated, but it was better than nothing. He knocked on the door, but there was no answer. He pushed it open and entered. The cabin was dark and dusty. There was a fireplace, a table, a chair, and a bed. There was also a shelf with some books and a radio. David felt relieved. He decided to stay there for the night and hope that the storm would pass by the morning. He looked at the books on the shelf. They were mostly old novels and magazines. He picked one up and opened it. It was a horror story about ghosts and demons. He laughed nervously and put it back. He decided to go to bed and get some rest. He lay down on the bed and pulled a blanket over himself. He closed his eyes and tried to sleep. He woke up suddenly in the middle of the night. He felt a cold breeze on his face. He opened his eyes and saw that the fire had gone out. The cabin was pitch black. He heard a creaking noise from the door. He turned his head and saw that it was slightly open. He wondered if he had forgotten to close it properly. He got up from the bed and walked towards the door. He reached for the knob and tried to close it. He felt something grab his hand. He screamed. It was not human. It was cold, slimy, and scaly. It had claws, teeth, and eyes. It pulled him outside. He struggled, but it was too strong. It dragged him into the woods. He saw other shapes moving in the dark. They were like him. They were hungry. The next morning, a rescue team arrived at the cabin. They had received a distress signal from David's plane and traced it to his location. The camera was still recording when they found David seriously injured. A few months later, David recovered and had the chance to tell this story. I hope you liked it. I would be happy if you subscribe to my channel.